Welcome, Bitcoin fam, to the #1 Bitcoin show. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis. We'll also be discussing breaking news. 1.2 billion 40x Bitcoin whale. James Nguyen just said Bitcoin's going to 118,000 this week. Get ready. Also breaking news, Wall Street giant Cantor Fitzgerald officially launches $2 billion worth of Bitcoin lending, completing their first loans. Bitcoin in the heart of Wall Street. There is no stopping it now. Send it higher. Also more breaking news, Ram Sawani Strive raises $750 million for their alpha generating Bitcoin buy strategy. Also Marathon's Bitcoin mining revenue hits a record $752 million as Bitcoin price soars. And we're within price discovery yet again today. Bitcoin shows signs of easing momentum, but traders are still expecting $150,000 target. I'll be breaking down this timeline, as well as $120 billion Bitcoin stash puts Satoshi at number 11. Rich list, that divine number 11. Also, Michael Saylor says on-chain proof of reserves is a bad idea due to security risks, which really makes no sense. We'll dive deeper into that. We'll also be discussing breaking news. Trump media announces $2.5 billion Bitcoin Treasury deal using Crypto.com and Anchorage for custody. We'll also be covering all the highlights of what's happening at the Bitcoin Vegas conference. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, it's very important. Smash the likes, subscribe, ring the bell, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. Today is pod episode number, I think it's 2004. Yep, 2004. I'm your host, JV. It's May 27, 2025. Bitcoin's out pumping, back in the green. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do every day. Coin 360 pulling up on your screen. And please let me know in the comments if you can see the screen. Just want to make sure. It shows Bitcoin up just shy of 110,000 at the time of the live stream. We have Ether, big run up 6% on the day, trading just shy of 2,700 as the bulk of the market is pumping and in the green, which we love to see. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at 3.47 trillion. The all-time high is 3.75 trillion. We're inching closer and closer. Bitcoin market cap today, 2.182 trillion. We got 128 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance pulled back a little bit at 63 today. I think it was 63.3 yesterday. And Ether dominance pumped today back to 9.4%. It was, I think, 9% even yesterday. So an itty bitty pump for the ETH. Shows virtual up 19%, Cake up 15%, Quant up 13%. Let me know which alts, if any, you're bullish on for the bull. Holla at your motherfucking boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles. We get that visual perspective on the daily. I'd say 90% of the market in the green. Got to dig it. And zooming out for the weekly, I'd say 75 green over red. And zooming out for the monthly, maybe 90% of the market. Pretty impressive gainers across the board. You got Monero up 65%, WIF up 80%, Aave up 63%, Hype up 109%, Zcash up 68%, and the infamous Pepe coin up 58%. But I prefer to still refer to it as PP coin. But anyways, checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Today we're 74. Yesterday a 73. Last week a 71. And last month a 61 in greed. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We're currently on block height 898,618. We have 151,382 blocks until the halving of 2028. And you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 911 sats. So there's your 911 emergency warning. To stack the sats, put down the gats, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. Keep the comments flowing. We're going to transition into our astrology for the baddies, of course. And you should be able to read the headline here. It says Bitcoin price held up by the corporate adoption and inflation hedge narratives. I also want to touch upon some of the breaking news. That 40x leverage whale trader, James Nguyen, who we've been covering in the past week here, says Bitcoin's going to hit 118 this week, as outlined right here. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the whale. And I think he's right. I think next leg up in play, potentially in the 120s. There's no telling. Bitcoin has no top. Fiat has no bottom. And Janet Yellen is constipated. Bananas! You right know. Also, Wall Street giant Cantor Fitzgerald officially launched a $2 billion Bitcoin lending, completed the first loan. Bitcoin in the heart of the Wall Street Obviously, there's no stopping it. Also, breaking news that came in right before I went live. I don't have time to cover this particular story, but I'll just read you the headline here. Ram Sawani Strive raises $750 million. So another Treasury company stacking Bitcoin, almost $1 billion buy just to kick it off. So, I mean, game on, sign of the times. You already know. But getting back to our TA, aka astrology for the baddies, let's dive a little deeper. Given the growing investor uncertainty about the economic conditions, Bitcoin hovering around 110 at the time of the live stream has taken investors by surprise as it consolidates the top 6 positions as a global trader asset by market cap. Investors now ask whether Bitcoin is becoming anti-fragile or if it'll drop below 100 and be inevitable in a recessionary environment. I think those days are long gone. I don't see sub 100,000 ever occurring again, but you guys let me know your thoughts. Traders currently estimate 41% chance that the Fed maintains interest rates through September, a steep rise from 2% just a month ago. Also, President Trump called for lower interest rates, but the Fed chair, Jay Powell, remains cautious due to the strong labor market and rising inflationary pressures, whether driven by tariffs or easy credit conditions. This tension helps explain why the S&P has struggled to retake its February all-time high of 6,147, and why Bitcoin's upside has also been a bit limited. Bitcoin's current market cap, $2.2 trillion, exceeds that of Google and Meta, which partially explains the 112 resistance level, which we hit a few days back, which is the current all-time high. Still, it would be inaccurate to suggest Bitcoin is decoupled from traditional markets. In my opinion, we were never coupled to begin with. I'm just saying, Bitcoin's on its own trajectory, but you let me know your thoughts and theories. Companies are currently reporting earnings for the first quarter, a period that predates the escalation of the trade war, and as a result, stock markets may take longer to reflect the full negative impact, even as the macroeconomic indicators show a sign of contraction. The 6.3% drop of U.S. durable goods orders in April, reported on May 27th, could be the first signal of a weakening economy. I'd say the 1 millionth signal. I mean, inflation is a sign. I mean, there's tons of signs. Just look around. But, you know, the Fed's going to do their best bullshit spin to say inflation's under control, everything is perfect, we've never had such a strong economy in our life. But meanwhile, we're tinkering on the cusp of economic collapse and the fiat bond market apocalypse, coining Max Kaiser. But anyway, Bitcoin's risk profile appears to have improved after Trump Media, which is our feature story we'll dive deeper into later. They announced the plan to acquire $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. This is a pretty big deal. And I do want to pull up some of the live charts, so give me a second. To do that, I'm going to do a little live chart action. Jackson satisfaction for the Nipinator. Of course, former chairman of the SEC. Give it up for the Nipster. Just saying. But you should be able to see here on your screen, there's a 1 hour chart brought to you via Coinbase, via TradingView. We have quite a few bullish targets in play. In the blue, wow, a new target of 120. That's what I'm saying. And again, that 40x leverage whale is calling for 118, which is right in alignment with the 120. Let's get it. Should we just surpass that, hit the 420 for the broskies? Just saying. Let me know, facts. Also in the green here, 116.3, that's been printed on this chart for the last week. The 120 target is new, so we got even that much more bullish today. I dig it. Can you dig it? And we also have the 112.4 price discovery, currently sitting at 112. That's the exact top via Coinbase. And zooming out from there, we'll take a look at a 4 hour, and we'll continue to work our way back, Jack. In fact, let's make it happen. Biddy under attack? Oh, hell no. Bullish pennant formation sensation, baby. We also have a blue target here, 120. Yep. Identical to the 1 hour chart, and also the 116.3 bullish pennant, very similar to the 1 hour chart. So 1 hour, 4 hour, bullish. And zooming out a little further, take a look at a daily. You can see the bullish momentum is continuing after we had the pullback from 112. We dropped to 109, and we're slowly climbing, slowly but surely. 3 consecutive days in the green. And again, today's Bitcoin conference 2025, the biggest conference of the motherfucking year. And if you don't know, maybe now you know. I don't know. You tell me. And checking out the weekly, we still have the sexy cup and handle target. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're already on our 8th bullish consecutive green candle, kicking off the week, and it's the week of the event. Also bullish target, 124 cup and handle in play, and we could be there this week. There's really no telling with a constipated Janet Yellen. Bananas! Just saying. And checking out The 1 month also bullish last month, already surpassed the bullishness of last month. This month still have a few days left to put a bow out on May. I mean, we've been straight pure bullishness since Q2 officially when April began. And I think this bullishness is likely to continue at least for the next 5 months in 2025. And I dare say next leg up incoming, but you guys let me know your thoughts. But anyways, we did our TAA. Let's move on. Next story of the day. There's a lot to cover. So let's get through this. Next story is Marathon Digital's Bitcoin mining revenue hit a record 752 million as the Bitcoin price soars. And as I referenced a little earlier, I don't have time to cover this particular story, but again, the headline, Ramsawani Strive just raised 750 million for their Bitcoin buy strategy. So there's a lot of Bitcoin Treasury companies being birthed right now following in the Saylor put. And speaking of Saylor, he announced at the conference yesterday that he's not going to be sharing proof of reserves, which struck a lot of us by surprise. We'll be diving deeper into that story. Trump's $2.5 billion acquisition of Bitcoin being announced today and all the other breaking news. So stay tuned. Now, Marathon Holdings, formerly Marathon Digital, reached a new all-time high in Biddy mining revenue, fueled by the recent surge to the record high of 112. The company's annualized mining revenue exceeded 752 million May 27th, making it the most profitable day in the company's history. Marathon's currently the world's largest publicly traded Bitcoin mining firm by market cap. Quoting Ki Jong Yu of CryptoQuant, quarterly reports are slow. On-chain shows revenue in real time, confirming the milestone. Marathon's record revenue. Now, shout out Marathon. One of my favorite rappers of all time, may he rest in peace, is Nipsey Hussle. In fact, the Nippinator was named after him. If you didn't know, you learned something new today. And he would always say the marathon. And in fact, he'd always say the marathon continues, because that's what it's all in Bitcoin. The same thing. It's not a race, it's a marathon. And you always want to continue to accumulate sats. And I think Saylor is a great example. You've never achieved the pinnacle. You start stacking the biddies forever. Why? It's going up forever. And rest in peace to the NIP. But anyways, we hit that 112 on May 22nd, a development attributed by some analysts to the Japanese bond market turbulence. Max Kaiser is calling for a complete bond-pocalypse, which I've covered as well in previous episodes. It's not looking good for the Japanese economy and the Japanese yen right now with all these bonds collapsing. The revenue surge comes week after Marathon earning report for Q1 misled the Wall Street estimates by 0.3%. The company's Bitcoin production fell 19% year over year, primarily due to April. And shout out Nipsey Hussle as well, because he was a Bitcoin and crypto proponent years ahead of his time. And you got to respect that. Very smart man, by the way. So respect. With the cut block rewards in half from 6.25 to 3.125, Marathon is the world's largest Bitcoin mining firm with 5.18 market cap. Damn, $5 billion already. Now, despite the reduction in production, Marathon continued to expand its Bitcoin holdings. Currently, as of May 27, which is today, they have 48,237 BTC worth $5.28 billion, making the Bitcoin mining company the world's second largest corporate Bitcoin holder. I guess that would be right after MicroStrategy, aka Strategy B, with over 0.2% of the supply. Meanwhile, MicroStrategy has over roughly 3% of the supply, as broken down here. Largest holders, corporate holders, MicroStrategy, Marathon, Riot, CleanSpark. So it's a lot of the mining companies, but you also got Tesla in there with 0.055% of the supply. Elon, what are you, retarded? I mean, you should have like 10% of the supply, but you can't fix stupid, or what's the other word? Compromised, in which I believe he is, but that's a topic for another conversation. The top spot still belongs to Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, which holds over 63 billion of Bitcoin. Despite the revenue surge, daily miner revenues average around 50 million, significantly below historic peaks of 80 million, signaling that there is still room to climb back to those previous highs. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Meanwhile, Marathon adopted as a strategic treasury reserve asset was July of last year. It wasn't too long ago when it traded 124 million worth of Bitcoin for the balance sheet. And there you have it, as they start stacking the biddy, there's only so much Bitcoin to go around. Now you have nations acquiring Bitcoin, sovereign wealth funds, states, you name it. And it seems like every day we're announcing a new corporate treasury firm for adopting Bitcoin being birthed, just like today with Vivek, acquiring 750 million Bitcoin to kick off his, and now Trump about to purchase 2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. There's only so much Bitcoin to go around. I'm just saying. And again, welcome everyone joining the stream. We're going to continue with the news. We still have so much to share with you guys. Big conference happening right now in Vegas. It's 1:30 in the desert. It's 4:30 here in Puerto Rico. Next story of the day, headline reads, Bitcoin shows signs of easing momentum, but traders are still expecting 150,000. And as I pointed out earlier, that one leveraged trader long we've been covering all week by the name of James Nguyen, he's projecting 118,000 this week. Well, now let's discuss even more bullish scenario of 150,000. We'll break this down. Let's see what some of the analysts are saying. And of course, 111 is that special number. So happy 111, which is pretty cool to see, by the way. Actually got a screenshot when we hit that God frequency of 111111. And that only happens one time in Bitcoin history. The next divine number will be 1.1 million, I dare say. But yeah, you already know. One analyst here says this decline may signal cooling buyer enthusiasm, reduction in upward momentum, and a potential pause or reversal of the recent bullish trend. Oh no, you perma bears. How dare you? But Glassnode says the persistent decline of the CBD reflects bearish sentiment, highlighting dominant sell-side pressure for the Bitcoin futures market. Anyone here trading futures, do let me know. But I want to get to the bullishness. I want to get to the bottom. This analyst calling for 120. Alpha BTC wrote, after taking the all-time high, I am watching how Bitcoin performs over the next couple of days. Ideally, it blasts up, shows strength to leave the breakout to be tested for the Biddy future. Meanwhile, Macau Van Day Pop said Bitcoin's looking to attack the all-time highs, just like Nippinator on attack, but it could retest 102 before relaunching higher to 115, up, and away, quoting Handyman way back in Living Color days. Let me know if you guys remember that one. Using Fibonacci retracement levels, Titan Crypto predicted a cycle top of 135 for Bitcoin price if it repeats the 2024 pattern on the weekly time frame, as he outlines here with the chart. Bitcoin 100% Fibonacci extension at 135. Bitcoin is replicating the same pattern. But what if we're really replicating the 2017 pattern and we're about to go parabolic and hit max highs? There's 2.2 million in play. What about that? Let me know. Now, Rack Capital shared his price discovery roadmap, showing Bitcoin transitioning into price discovery uptrend number 2, as outlined here. Let's get to the 150, shall we? This is similar to the Bitcoin price action between January 2024 and March 2024. Bitcoin rallied more than 91% to the previous all-time high above 73. And according to the analysts, if the same scenario were to play out, Bitcoin would reach the next peak at around 150 G's, baby. Now, Bitcoin looking for a fresh catalyst to reach the target of 155 after successfully retesting the key level of 106. I dare say this could be our summer play, 155, and that's still a little bearish in my humble opinion. I dare say we can be in the 200,000 range this summer over the next couple of months. But you guys let me know your thoughts and I'll read your comments out loud. Welcome everyone joining the live stream. Give it up for your one and only former chairman of the SEC, Nippinator. But anyways, next story of the day. Headline reads, 120 billion Bitcoin stash puts Satoshi Nakamoto at the number 11 rich list. Typically, I wouldn't even cover the story if he was number 12, but specifically because he's now number 11 and we really dig that number, we're going to cover this one. That's right. Arcam Intelligence disclosed creator of Bitcoin, known as Satoshi, now holds roughly 1.96 million BTC. Holy moly. I thought it was 1.1 million. So that gives him even more Bitcoin than I even assume, which means that's even more stalemated Bitcoin, making our Bitcoin that much more valuable and scarce. I dig it. The stash is currently worth 120 billion at today's prices. And according to Arcam, this makes him the 11th richest person on earth. Well, at least on paper. His share adds up to 5.2% of all the Bitcoin ever mined. I can't wait till Satoshi surpasses Elon's bitch ass, but I'll leave that conversation for another day. The mystery around Nakamoto deepens as these wallets haven't moved since 2011. They remain untouched when Bitcoin was still a fringe experiment. Now those same addresses tower over many national treasuries, and even a small sale can reshape the prices. Bitcoin recently spiked to 112 just a few days ago, as we all know, and Satoshi now holds 120 billion USD worth of Bitcoin, which is 5.2% of the entire Bitcoin supply, making him the 11th richest person in the world. Do you think these coins will ever move, or do you think they're stagnated forever? I'm going to vote with the latter. But you let me know and I'll check your comments here in a bit. Based on the market data, Bitcoin's total value hit 2.16 trillion. The figure eclipsed Amazon's 2.13 trillion market cap. Investors list the crypto amongst the top 5 global assets. In fact, I think it even touched the number 4 spot. Still, Bitcoin is a decentralized token, while Amazon is a single company. Some experts warn it is not a neat comparison. Well, we have two elements of Bitcoin. You have the coin or the money, but we also have the network itself. So remember that. Now for the big players and the market movers. Saylor's firm strategy bought 4,020 Bitcoin, as we announced on yesterday's pod, between May 19th and the 25th, bringing their total stash to 580,250 BTC. Yes, Strategy's stock dipped over 7% in pre-market trading yesterday. That drop shows Wall Street can shrug off the biddy buys. Meanwhile, Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki called the Bitcoin the real money and warned that fiat cash might lose its grip. No, fiat cash will lose its grip. It is losing its grip, hence inflation. Anyways, and no one's trusting it to begin with, because we're on to your Ponzi scheme, banksters. He pointed to Gresham's Law and Metcalfe's Law to make the case. Now, institutional interest is one factor. Another is the rollout of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. These funds let the big investors buy the biddy without wrestling with the private keys. That move has lifted demand even when the retail takes a step back. In fact, this entire bull run that we have witnessed is due to the institutional, not the retail, which was all the previous cycles before us driven by retail. This time it's driven by the institutional FOMO like a mofo, which I coined many years back. Still, some of the crypto community worry about the silent wallets. No one really knows if Satoshi might ever move those coins. I guess we have to ask Nipinator. And if he did, the prices would wobble. Oh no, unlike the earth. A sudden sell-off would even be a small slice of 100,000, could flood the market. Right now, the mere thought keeps the traders on edge. Today, numbers shine a spotlight on how the Bitcoin, or how far we have come. I mean, 112 is no joke. I mean, we'll literally be at a million per coin and another 10x. Do you think we hit that 10x potentially this cycle, next cycle? Holla, and I'll read your comments out loud. Anyways, fam, let's keep it moving. Next story, we're going to discuss the latest with Saylor. And then the latest breaking news with the Trump Media Group announcing a $2.5 billion Treasury acquisition, which is a pretty big deal. So let's start here with what's happening right now. I know it's on a lot of people's minds. Saylor says on-chain proof of reserves is a bad idea due to security risks. And you got to tell me if you agree or disagree with that, and we'll dive into the story, and then I'll give you my personal 2 Satoshis. Michael Saylor, executive chair of major Bitcoin buying firm Strategy, the largest corporate hodler of the world, says institutions are posting on-chain proof of reserve. That's a bad idea. Could propose security risks. Now, is that a true statement? First and foremost, does posting the proof of work, which is the address, propose a security risk? That's the $1 million question right now. Let me know. The current conventional way to publish proof of reserves is an unsecured proof of preserves, Saylor said when asked about institutions adopting transparency measures at the May 26th event, which was yesterday at the sidelines at a Bitcoin conference. It actually dilutes the security of the issuer, the custodians, the exchanges, and the investors. It is not a good idea. It is a bad idea. Saylor didn't answer whether Strategy would publish proof of reserves when asked by Blockware Solutions head whether his firm would do so. As Mitch will share here, I asked Saylor if MicroStrategy had any plans to publish on-chain proof of reserves. His answer will shock you. It's a bad idea. Security risk, irrelevant without also having Big Four audited liabilities. And you can actually see Saylor addressing it. I watched the video yesterday. Let me know if you saw it. Also, always, there's show notes below the video in the description on the YouTube and the Rumble where I get all these stories. Obviously, I don't make this information up, but there's always a reference resource. But anyways, the proof of reserves are common amongst crypto exchanges and verify the company holds sufficient crypto reserves to cover customer deposits. They also confirm that other entities such as crypto track and exchange traded funds hold the required amount of crypto for the funds. Saylor acknowledged the industry had learned from the collapses of crypto exchanges like FTX and Mt. Gox, but said the proof of reserves isn't the correct measure to take for institutions. Quoting him here, no institutional grade or enterprise security analyst would think it's a good idea to publish all of the wallet addresses. So I think that alludes to it's multiple wallets, not just one, such that you could be traced back and forth. Now, my understanding, it's not a security risk, but it is a security risk in the sense that people will be able to follow the blockchain and see where it goes. It doesn't mean it's a security risk where it's going to be stolen. There's a massive difference there. So I just want to throw in my 2 Satoshis, but quoting him again, go to AI, put in deep think mode, and then ask what are the security problems of publishing your wallet address and how might it undermine security of your company over time. Saylor said adding could write 50 pages of security problems. So he deems it a massive security threat all of a sudden. Interesting. Many crypto exchanges, custodians, and ETF issuers started publishing their proof of reserves following the FTX collapse in November of 2022 to establish transparency and prove that they hold enough assets to back customer deposits. Precisely. We want to know that there is enough Bitcoin sitting there. For example, if FTX shared their proof of reserves, they wouldn't have dug themselves in the hole and screwed investors out of $10 billion. So transparency, in my opinion, it's not a bad thing, but Saylor does not like that idea at all. Crypto exchanges, Binance, shout out Miss Yellen, Binance, Kraken and OKX, and crypto asset manager Bitwise are amongst the industry players that have adopted the transparency measure. And also, let's not forget Bukele, El Salvador, every day, proof of reserve, proof of reserve, proof of reserve. However, Saylor noted the proof of reserves often only shows one side of the picture, what the company holds, not what they owe. Well, then show what you owe and what you hold. Just be transparent, Michael. But anyways, it was a pleasure to meet and converse with 2 of the best leaders, operators of the Bitcoin world. Pretty soon, every company will be a Bitcoin Treasury company. Now, Saylor's strategy is currently the largest, 576,000 Bitcoin after their latest purchase. We also already touched upon Marathon Digital holding now 48,000 Bitcoin. More than 110 publicly traded companies worldwide have purchased and currently hold the pretty little bitty. And if you don't know, now you know. Now for our feature story of the day. Breaking news. Trump media announces a $2.5 billion Bitcoin treasury deal using Crypto.com and Anchorage for their Bitcoin custody. This is the big story of the day. So let's break this baby down. And obviously, there is a Bitcoin conference going down in Vegas right now at 30,000 people, including the Trump family, who are going to be speaking. But check it. Trump Media and Technology Group, TMTG, the company that owns U.S. President Trump's Truth Social platform and is partially owned by the president, confirmed, already a done deal, $2.5 billion capital raised to purchase Bitcoin after denying earlier reports of the deal. Remember, Max Kaiser reposted, $3 billion buy for the Trump family, and then they kind of like brushed it off like it wasn't real. And then Kaiser called him Employee of the Month. Well, it is real, and it's been confirmed. $2.5 billion. Take that. According to the May 27 announcement for the company, which was as of today, the company raised comprises a $1.5 billion stock sale and a $1 billion convertible senior secured bond with a 0% coupon. Sounds like the Saylor put in full effect. The sale is expected to close on May 29th in 2 more days. Quoting their CEO, Devin Nunes, we view Bitcoin as an apex instrument of financial freedom, and now the Trump media will hold cryptocurrency as a crucial part of our assets, Bitcoin in particular. This investment will help defend our company against harassment and discrimination by financial institution, criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance. Meanwhile, TMTG spokespeople responded to the initial report from the Financial Times published the day before the announcement. As I referenced, we shared that headline yesterday. Apparently, the Financial Times has dumb writers listening to even the dumb sources. Ironic enough, it was true. Womp womp. Shares of TMTG, I guess they didn't want people to know the news ahead of time, so they denied it. Fell over 12% following the announcement, and we're trading at $23 at the time of publication. The funding deal comes as a growing number of corporations and countries adopt Bitcoin treasury strategies as the digital asset matures into financial instruments of geopolitical importance. Several Bitcoin treasury companies increased their holdings this May, including Michael Saylor's strategy. According to the Saylor tracker, the company just acquired another 4,020 Bitcoin, which was just announced yesterday. Also, technology company Semler Scientific purchased 455 Bitcoin, valued at over $750 million for its treasury. An acquisition company disclosed May 23rd. Also, Vivek Ramaswamy just announced purchasing $750 million for their Bitcoin treasury company, which we covered earlier in the headlines. We also have Jack Mallers' company, 21, doing similar things, going to be acquiring billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin backed by the likes of Cantor Fitzgerald and all of the billion-dollar companies like Tether, USDT, which has has over $150 billion market cap. Also, investment firm MetaPlanet, widely regarded as the investor's Japan MicroStrategy, acquired an additional 1,004 Bitcoin. Can you say supply shock? We also have analyst Jesse Myers recently predicted that the current rate of the institutional accumulation, institutional FOMO like a mofo, which I coined many years back. Large entities will own 50% of the total Bitcoin supply by 2045, and right now they own a minuscule amount. In fact, it's individuals like you and I and the Nippinator that are the primary share of the pie. We make up over 50% of Bitcoin holdings. Governments is like less than 3%. Corporate treasury companies or corporations, a very minuscule amount as well. So that number is going to be skyrocketing over the next 20 years. Myers added that this growth in institutional adoption is driven by the flight to safety from traditional asset classes. Now, when I hear that term, flight to safety, that's something I heard first and foremost from BlackRock CEO Larry Fink when they started to get into the ETFs and start to pre-frame people for the ETF that went live, which was officially January 11th of 2024. It's only been a year and a half, and they already have over 600,000 Bitcoin, bro. And over the last 2 years, an exodus from the fiat assets, bonds, and money has already begun. Now prepare for the fiat bond apocalypse. Hard money assets, Bitcoin, and gold are the things that are shifting. It's where we're shifting to. We're Peter shifting away from the gold and into the Bitcoin. And what is the gold market cap right now? I dare say it's 22 trillion. Bitcoin market cap, a light 2 trillion. That means we can 10x from here before we catch up to where it should be, because Bitcoin is a superior store value. All day, every day, no question, impregnable, borderless, divisible by 100 million Satoshis. It is unconfiscatable. Lizard folk, try to take it away. Best of luck. You're going to need it. And so you already know. And if you don't know, you figured it out by now. And so there you have it. And if you decide to continue to stay ignorant and never know, have fun staying poor.
We call them poor.
You know, there's a name for them.
There's a name for them.